Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the Makona Man at YouTube with another model product review. Today we're going to be looking at the SMS Scale Modeler Supply Masking Putty. It is just like the Panzer Putty, which was heavily advertised a few years back. This product in Australia is about half the price of the other item in question, and we're given this black metallic green like goo. It's a fairly solid puck. It has its advantages and disadvantages. However, it's recommended to be used with paints that are very fast drying. It's nothing like paint or blue tack where you can add to your model and leave it there for hours or days. You need to apply it fairly soon, spray and lift up. So the more tones of camouflage you're spraying, the more difficult it is. And as it heats up in your hands, it starts to change shape, goo up and transform. So if you build up a shape and stick it as such, it's not going to hold it. Within a few hours it will just create a really thin Updeen mill puddle. Where this stuff is advantageous, you are able to fairly mould it and make shape with a great amount of detail, and it contours and sticks onto surfaces very nice. After a little while it really sinks into the detail and nook and crannies. You spray it up and you're practically guaranteed to have no bleed through. You cannot really paint too thickly, as the paint will run as the putty will run, and hopefully if you do it in dry coats, the paint may encapsulate and hold the putty together to do a second layer. It is recommended to be used with lacquers. Please use with clean hands on a clean surface. It does very easily pick up dirt and junk, and the more dirt and gunk it does pick up over time, it loses its stick, its stretch, and may dry out. So these do have a use by date. You can stick it on a model, peel it off and knead it until the paint flakes off, though after a while, for that dried paint, the oils in your skin and dirt, it will eventually die out. I have used it half a dozen amount of times and it's still nice and oily, so it should have a very long shelf life kept in this container. I've applied it on and I'm going to give it about 5 minutes or so to contour on nicely. It was just ripped to place, a nice pattern formed and pushed on. As you can see, it's very easy to lift and it's very easy to contour back on, reshape and mold. The best way to describe it is it exactly handles just like a putty, and you can just pinch as much as you want and knead it as such to stick on. We'll hit the next layer with some premium SMS black, test it, spray nicely, and we dust on. You see how the colour just ever so slightly changes, and we're just moving around, coating the whole model until it's nice and solid black, yet generally dry to the touch. And you go both directions of the mask to make sure it doesn't feather. It's a nice hard edge. Spray a bit on the mask as well, so we're encapsulating it in paint. Get a little bit on the barrel, and that way it shouldn't move too much. You can see that the putty is already starting to break the bank of encapsulated paint. We're going to have to move quickly to put the next layer of mask and spray. Layer 2 has been applied. So we're done with the painting, and the putty is still moving around. It is in its putty state, not 100% dry, but can start to be handled, and we're able to move the putty off. And we could see that where it's moved, it started to bleed into the brown bit. So ideally, maybe I should have removed it and utilized the black pattern with the brown pattern. But it is what it is. You just got to work with what you have with this medium. And as it's warming up, you can see how it's starting to get stringy. There's paint, and as you need it, the paint just flakes out more or less like blue tack. And yeah, the paint is really slimy on the putty, and we're just trying our best not to smudge it, not to move it around, get it on the dry bits, on the painted bits. We might allow a little more drying before we remove the rest, but this is generally what you're expecting. The lines are very clean. Now after a few minutes we're fully dry. We're going to have little strings and bits of runned putty that's going to be stuck all over the place. You don't want to run your finger over as the paintwork is still a bit sensitive, though you could actually stick the putty up against it and it will actually pick up any remnants behind. And at this stage the paint is dry enough that it's not going to create any damage. So I'm going to do this all around where I had putty stuck and make sure that I have everything removed, especially wrapped around this gun turret. And there you go. You've got a very nice, clean, three-tone camouflage with a very sharp edge. That would be ideal on all sorts of military applications. It is a shame you have to move very quickly, though if you design your camouflage pattern well enough, it should work quite well. Just consider that it will creep and it will bleed. So we've got the light brown on the inside, black, and the final coat of green. But yeah, absolutely ideal in lacquers, especially things for like your Mr. Colour, SMS, any of that sort of stuff. These are the colours that I've used. Apply dry, don't build it up to be wet like I did. Encapsulating it isn't 100% tactic in slowing down the creep factor, though interestingly enough no damage is caused on the paint whatsoever. It is for very quick methods. I would not use this with slow drying acrylics, especially enamels. That is definitely a big no. But for that really natural curvy camouflage use, it's absolutely ideal. But however, due to the strange nature this product is, I would highly recommend experimenting, have a play, watch it pull and shrink and drag and change shape as it heats up and becomes flattened. So you got an idea of the time aspect that you have to play with this as you're modelling. I wouldn't go any deeper than a three-tone camouflage, though most things that's pretty much the max that you'll be playing with. And yeah, apply dry, stick a layer, apply dry, stick the next layer in succession, and you can lift it up practically immediately. So that's a painted model in a very short period of time, or a single hobby session. Thank you very much for watching. As always, until next time, stay tuned for further content. Hope this video is very useful. Definitely test it on spoons or a play piece well before you start applying it to a model, and all should end well for you. Catch you guys next time. See you later.